What's good, y'all? It's your girl Robin, and the topic that this video is about is somewhat controversial or whatever. And I wasn't going to say anything, but I mean, it is what it is. I have the right to voice my opinion, so therefore that's what I'm going to do. What I would like to talk about in this video is the Adrian Peterson child abuse situation. Now, first of all, child abuse is unacceptable, point blank, period. I don't care how you slice and dice it. It's wrong. However, these days, disciplining your child and child abuse are getting they're getting their wires crossed, because you're not supposed to hit your child with a belt these days. You're not supposed to hit your child with a switch these days. You're not supposed to hit your child at all. You're not supposed to pop them. That's not how you discipline your child, according to society these days. First and foremost, let me just say that where Adrian Peterson is concerned, and him disciplining his 4-year-old son, that was a bit much. It was. Like, and I've been whooped with the switch. I've been whooped with the belt. Like, so for me to say that's a lot, because I know I've had to pick my own switches. But when you go to the extreme where this child has open wounds on his body, he was bleeding still when he went back to his mama house, and she took him to the doctor, and the doctor is the one that reported it. So I was whooped with a switch, so I'm gonna whoop you like I was whooped when I came up, blah blah blah. I highly doubt your parents gave you a slave owner to his slave beaten like you just did. Like, no, that was overkill. I hit him in his nuts one time, and I feel bad about that. So you don't feel bad about the fact that this kid has welts on him and he's bleeding? Like, you don't feel bad about that? Really? Okay. Now, that's crazy. But let me tell you that people want to say, well, when you beat your children, they grow up to be angry and they kill people and they do this and they do that and da 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 da, yada yada yada, whoop whoop whoop. On the contrary. Now, I was disciplined as a child. I was whooped as a child. I was put on punishment. Like, there were different forms of punishment for different levels of disobedience or rule breaking, or like what I did. Like, what I did, there was a level of discipline that came along with it. If I just didn't clean my room up or do my chores, then I was put on punishment. Or I got my TV and my radio and my karaoke machine. I got those things taken away, and all I was left with was my desk and books. I like to read, so that wasn't really a punishment, but whatever. If I got in trouble at school, depending on what I got in trouble for, I got a whooping. Depending on the level of what trouble I got in, if I got sent to the office and I got a referral, I probably got a butt naked whooping. Now, I mean, that was the norm for me. I didn't get that many whoopings. Like, it's like, what I'm saying is, first of all, I wasn't a bad child, but it wasn't like I got beat every day of my life. And furthermore, what my mother did was try to instill in me right and wrong. Now, everybody has their own take on how to instill values into their children. So you can't judge one person on how they choose to instill values on their child as opposed to how you choose to do it. I don't even have kids, but I can speak from what I went through as a child. And when I say went through, I don't mean anything negative. Like I wasn't traumatized because I got beat, and I just knew what not to do. Like, I mean, it's one thing for your parent to tell you, okay, this is what you're allowed to do, this is what you're not allowed to do. If you do this, this is what's going to happen. Somebody can tell you that, and you may not believe what they're saying. So therefore, your parent has to stand their ground and allow you and force you to realize that they are the ones in control. They're the parent, you're the child. Therefore, you do as you're told. So if you don't do as you're told, there are consequences to your actions, and those consequences might be a whooping. The Bible says, spare the rod, spoil the child. And although I can admit that I'm a spoiled child, the rod was not spared at all. I done got them can't sit for a day whooping. I sound so country, but don't judge me. I've gotten wake up on that whoopings where I'm asleep and my mama get home from work or whatever, and she wakes me up by whooping me or whatever. Back in the day, because I'm 23 now, I don't get whoopings. Like, no, that's my mother did abuse me one time, no lie. She don't think she did, but hey, this is abuse, okay? This is abuse. I wasn't traumatized or nothing, but I'm just saying this was abuse, okay? I ain't called 911. I called my granny, and she got that. She set her straight. But listen, okay, so one day I was at school, and it was the 5th grade, and I had did something in class, and I got in trouble, and my teacher was so mad at me that she wrote me a referral, and I was sent to the office. And of course, when there's a referral written, they always call your parents. So my mom is telling me on the phone that you know what's gonna happen when you get home, right? And I'm like, yeah, I know, like, whatever. I mean, I did what I did, so it is what it is. But after that happened, I went to my music class, and we played this game called a Tisket to Tasket, kind of like Ring Around the Roses, and I got carpet burn. A deep carpet burn, and I was sent to the nurse because it was that bad, and all they did was put a band-aid on it. Like, they didn't put no type of antibacterial ointment, anything like that. All they did was put a dry band-aid on it. So when I get home, my mom doctors up on it, I show her whatever, and then she asked me about what I did at school that day and why I got in trouble and all this kind of stuff like that. And I already knew that a butt whooping was coming. So she told me to put my stuff up, and she was like, and get a belt. Come get a belt and drop your drawers. And so she was whooping me or whatever, and this is a naked butt whooping. So therefore, my reflex is to protect my booty from the belt. She's so mad that I keep touching my butt, and she telling me not to, that she ties me up. Well, when she tied me up, I'm like, oh hell no, like, this is not gonna work. She ain't finna be beating me, and my hands is tied up, looking like a slave. No, this I am not Kunta Kinte. This is not going to work, mama. You need to get your life. So I pulled a Houdini, and I came up out that thing, not before she hit my carpet burn. And so I started screaming, and she was like, stop screaming, because I'm gonna give you something to scream about. I'm like, what the like, you just hit my sore. She's like, I ain't hit nothing. And I'm like, okay, you ain't seeing yourself hit me because you mad that I got in trouble at school today. But wait till I get done. So when I came loose, when I pulled a Houdini, Chris Angel, David Blaine, whatever his name is, David Copperfield, when I pulled one of them, then she was shocked and confused that I got loose. And so she just stopped whooping me. She just was standing there. And then I said, see, I was still crying. And I was like, see, you did hit my sore. And she was like, oh, I'm sorry, but get out of my sight. she was mad that I got a loose. I'm sorry. I was not finna sit up there and take no no. So I went in my room and I politely called my mama. I mean my grandma, on my granny, on my own line. Because I was big Willie styling back then. I had my own phone in my room and it was my own phone line. So only my friends and people called me through on that phone. So you know, it is what it is. But so I called her and then she called my mama and they went at it or whatever. And my granny told her that there was child abuse and whoop and da 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 da. So now that was the one instance where I feel that there was abuse. I've been whooped with a switch. And I had to pick my own switch. What type of, like, that is crazy. How am I getting punished? And then I'm punishing myself because I gotta go pick the switch that I'm finna get beat with. And what kills me the most is when my mama used to tell me, it's gonna hurt me more than it's gonna hurt you. How in the entire hell is it gonna hurt you more than it's gonna hurt me? You gonna be tired when you get done, but I'm the one that's body is stinging, my butt is stinging, my legs is stinging because you just whooped me with a belt. Like, for real? Okay, that's crazy. Now, the moral of this story, this whole thing, what I'm trying to say is disciplining your child, spanking them, doing whatever, that's not, I don't see anything wrong with it. When you go to an extreme, when a child has visible wounds, then that's taking it too far. But I think that these days kids are not disciplined. I think parents these days are afraid to discipline their children in the way that they were disciplined because of, oh, I'm gonna go to school and I'm gonna tell my teacher because I'm pissed off that you whooped me, and then my teacher's gonna call the police, and this is what's gonna happen, and that's what's gonna happen, and blah blah blah, whoop whoop whoop. So the parents are very cautious about how they discipline their children. But if I have kids, they're going to be disciplined the same way that I was disciplined, according to what you did. That's the level of discipline that you're going to get. Now, Adrian Peterson, like, I get where you coming from. The same way I was whooped with a switch, I'm going to whoop my child with a switch. But it's one thing to have welts because it's a branch. I mean, like, it's going to leave a welt on you. That's just to be expected. But it's going to go away the same day. But those pictures that they took of him, it was visible, but that was overkill because his skin was broken and he was bleeding. So that was too much. It was never that crucial for me when I got whooped. So I'm just saying, like, calm down and discipline them reasonably. Don't get too overzealous. Don't do too much. Don't do the most, because it's going to come back and bite you in the butt just like it did him. And he was honest about disciplining him and telling the police that that's the type of discipline that he got. But, okay, first of all, the child is 4. He's 4. A belt would have done the trick. You didn't have to use a switch. And if you were going to use a switch, you didn't have to do the most, because you did the most. And how do we know you did the most? Because of the marks that was left on his body. Think about what you do before you do it, especially if you're in the public eye, because people have public opinion is not necessarily wanted or warranted, but because you're a public figure, you're open to it. Like, regardless of whether or not you look for it, you want it, you agree with what the public has to say, you're a public figure, therefore the public is going to voice their opinion on what you did. And me being a part of the public, you was dead wrong. You did too much, like, and it is what it is. I'm not no serial killer. I ain't been in jail. I haven't been promiscuous. I haven't done any of those things because of being disciplined as a child. Like, that's a misconception. Oh, they're gonna always think that if they do something wrong that they're gonna get beat and da da da. Kill that noise. The reason, this is the way I see it, the reason behind somebody, a parent, disciplining you and as far as whooping you, is to try to make you not want to do the same thing over again. You know right from wrong, and if you get whooped one time for doing something that's wrong, and you know what is acceptable and what's not acceptable, you're supposed to be reminded of what happened the last time that you did something that was unacceptable. It's not to scare you into not making mistakes, because as children or young adults or adults period, you're going to make mistakes, but they're trying to mold you into an upstanding citizen. They want you to realize that there are consequences to what you do. Would you rather your parent whoop you when you're young, or be a Mike Brown, or something like that? Would you rather your parents discipline you, or you be in the system? What would you prefer? I'll take that whooping for 100, Alec, or whatever the name of that dude that, yeah, Jeopardy. I'll take a whooping for 500. Yes, and I'm out this thing. What y'all think?